Namaste students, myself Sunil Kumar from the Department of Computer Science. Today we are moving to the next session, or which is the third session based on the chapter Conditional and Iterative Statements. In previous session we mainly discussed about what is the different types of selection statement. So mainly we discussed the mainly two types of selection statement in a previous session. So if you take the selection statements, there are mainly four types of selection statements are available. One is simple if else, if ladder, or it is if, and after that last one is a nested if. These are the mainly four types of if statement that is available in case of Python programming. And in that mainly we discussed the mainly two types of if statement we discussed, that is simple if statements. So if you take a simple if statement is working based on the conditions. So only one condition will be provided. Whenever you provide the condition, if the condition is true, whenever you are going to execute that one, first the controller is going to evaluate the conditions. Whenever the particular condition is true, then statements are going to execute. Whenever the condition is false, then it is going to skip the statements. Remember, when case of simple if, it is going to check the condition. Whenever condition is true, then statements are going to execute. Whenever condition is false, at that time statements are going to skip. So this is what we discussed in a previous session, simple if statement. And also based on that one we discussed algorithm and also flowchart. We discussed how to write the flowchart with a simple example. So this much about the simple if. After that we discussed with one more type, that is if else statements. If else statement is also known as two-way branching, means true block and false block. There are two parts are there in case of if else statement. In case of if else, first it will check the condition. Control is going to check the condition. If the condition is true, first is going to check the condition. If the condition is true, then statement is going to execute. If the condition is false, then it is going to execute one more type of statement. There are two statements will be provided, or there are two parts will be there. Either first part or second part is going to execute. Whenever condition is true, then true part is going to execute. Whenever condition is false, then it is going to execute the false part. So that is about the if else statement that also we discussed in the previous session. So other than that, we discussed based on that how to write the flowchart. Flowchart also we discussed, and also how to write the examples based on that one. Remember, I gave only one example based on that one. We will be getting more examples based on that. We can execute that one, or you can cross check with the textbook and you can execute more examples based on the if else and also the simple if. So let us move to today's topic. In this topic, we mainly we are going to discuss about the if-elif statement. If-elif statement is also known as else-if ladder. It is also known as like working like ladder statements. So working like ladder. So if you are going to check the general format, if you are going to work, I'm saying these are working like a general or ladder, then it help. If you are going to check this one or general format, you can write here if should be written in small letter. First you should write the if small letter, then you have to provide the condition. So I write it is possible to provide many conditions. So I can write condition 1. Many conditions can be provided. So condition 1, first condition is provided. After the first condition, then column. Provide the column. After column, you can write the statement here. For example, I will write the statement 1. One statement I wrote, or statement. Any statement you can write. N number of statements are possible. Just I wrote here statement 1. So like that statements are possible. After that, next, normally in case of if else, we receive else. Normally in case of if else, we receive else part. But here in else part, if is here. So if means it is known as else if you take any other programming. If you are going to cross check with C++, or if you are going to the Java or any other programming, then it will be S. Normally it is written as else if. The other program it is written like this, else if. But in case of Python program, this one is written in the form of elif. This one is written in the form of elif. So whenever elif is there, then you have to provide one more condition. So multiple conditions are possible. Condition, you provide the condition 2, then statement 2 is going to execute. So you can provide statement 2. Statement 2 is going to execute. Next, elif, like that L conditions. So you can write condition N condition possible, not only one or two conditions. It is possible to provide the N number of conditions. So conditions, we can write the statement. Statement N. You can write here, you can execute here, statement N. After statement N, after writing the statement N, next last part is the else part. Whenever all the conditions are false, see, first you say the first condition is like that. Whenever all the conditions are false, you can write here statement X. This is the general format for else statement. So if you write the general format like this, so here if condition 1 statement, else condition 2 statement, else condition N. So like that, n number of conditions are possible. You can write n number of conditions. Whenever after writing all the conditions, last one here is else statement X. This is the format for writing if else statement or if else statement. So how it is working? When if you going to take this one, how it is working is first control will check the condition 1. First control will check condition 1. After checking the condition 1, whenever you going to check conditions, either condition will be true or false. Whenever condition true means, remember, whenever condition is true means, we will execute statement 1, remaining everything is going to skip. Whenever first you check the condition 1, if the condition 1 is true, then statement 1 is going to execute, remaining all the statements are going to skip. Over. Then if first condition is false, remember, condition 2 means will be executed. Over, finished. Whenever condition 1 is false, it's going to check the else, move to the else part normally, but here if is going to check the test condition 2. See, it's like a ladder. First test condition 1 is evaluated or checked, if it is 2 executed, otherwise if it is false means it's going to check the next condition. If the condition 2 is true, whenever condition 2 is true means we'll execute statement 2. We'll execute the statement 2. If the condition 2 is false means we're going to check the one more type or one more else statement. Here for example I give as the statement N or condition N. If the condition N is true means statement N is going to execute. If condition N is true means statement N is going to execute. If all the conditions are false, remember, if all the conditions are false, then finally it is going to execute the statement X. Remember, there is a working of if statement. How is working? First condition 1 is tested. If that one is true, statement 1 is executed. If the condition is false, we go to the condition 2, checking the condition 2. If the condition 2 is true, statement 2 is executed. Otherwise, we go to check the condition 4. Like that, we execute all check all the conditions one after another, and is going to execute the statements. This is about the if statements. So if you go to this is the general format. Then write the flow chart. How you can write the flow chart for this one? Whenever if you going to write the flow chart, first going to check the condition. But it is going to check the condition is condition 1. First you are going to check the condition 1. If the condition 1 is true, for example, 2 part I write here. If the condition 1 is true, statement 1 is going to execute. Remember, we know that statement 1 and 2. Whenever condition 1 is true, statement 1 is going to execute. If the condition is false, then it's going to check one more condition. It's going to check one more condition. Is condition 2. We're going to check one more condition, condition 2. If the condition 2 is true, statement 2 is going to execute. If condition 2 is true means then it is going to execute the statement 2. Then if the condition 2 is false, whenever condition 2 is false, we are going to execute next statements. I write here statement condition N. We will check the condition N is condition N. We will check the condition N. Where the condition N is true. Like that, n number of conditions are possible. So 1, 2, 3, just I wrote here N condition. So statement N is going to execute. Statement N is going to execute. If the last statement is false, then it is going to execute the default statements. Then it is going to execute default statement, or you can say statement X. So after executing all the statement, we move into next one. Move to the next statement. So this is the flow chart for the if statement. First it's here, first condition 1 is tested. If it is true, statement 1 is executed. If it is false, then condition 2 is tested. If the condition 2 is true, statement 2 is going to execute. If it is false, it's going to check the condition n. Going to check the condition n. If the condition n is true, statement n is going to execute. If the condition n is false, then it's going to execute the statement x. So remember, here statement x is known as default statement. Whenever all the conditions are not satisfied, whenever all the conditions are not satisfied, at that time it is going to execute the statement x. See, in this case, it is not executing all the statement together. In this case, it is not going to execute all the statement together. Any one statement, either statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, statement 4, statement n or statement x. Any one statement is going to execute at a time. So that is in case of if elif statement. This one is syntax, that is the flowchart. And we will see one example, one program, how we can implement this one in Python. So whenever you are going to implement this one in Python, there are different methods are there. Just as one, you can take simple example. First I will take grade. Or this example I will take as mark or percentage, whatever it is. You can take the percentage, mark, or just I will take the percentage is equal to int of input enter your percentage. Enter your percentage. So you will enter one data by using the input function. You can enter one data. Then after that we are going to check if percentage is greater than or equal to 80. First we are going to check whether the percentage is greater than or equal to 80. Then if it is greater than 80 means I can print A plus, grade A plus. Grade A, just I use as A here, enough. So it's not correct, you can say just for example formality, I wrote A here. Next, L if percentage greater than or equal to 60. Greater than or equal to 60. So if I use A plus here, I can give a print A. Then A plus, then A. Next, L if percentage greater than or equal to 50. Percentage greater than or equal to 50. Then I can print B grade will be printed. Then after that, if greater than or equal to 40 or you can write 35, space is not there, as I go to here. Print C grade. Grade is C. Then last one is else. You can write print fail. Whenever percentage is less than 35, whenever percentage is less than 35, then you can give that as a fail. So this is the example, simple example for if elif statement. Remember, first what happens here? First going to check the value, what will be the value. Then that value is checked here. If the percentage is greater than 80. And if it is 80 means, more than 80 means, you will print A plus. Remaining everything is going to skip. It is not. If it is less than 80. If percentage is less than 80 means, it's going to check with one more condition here. That is percentage is greater than 60. Greater than or equal to 60. Like that, all the conditions are checked one after another. Finally, which is matching, that equivalent statements are going to execute. So this is about the if elif statements. So next we will move to the nested if statements. Next we will move to the one more type of statement, that is a nested if statement. So nested if statement, there are different formats available. Nested if means inside one if statement, if you are going to write one more if, that is actually known as nested if statement. Inside the if we can write the one more if statement. Inside the else part we can write one more if statement. Inside the elif also we can write one more if statement. One more if else statement. So normally inside one if statement, if you write one more if, either else may become or in else part also okay, in if part also okay. That is actually known as nested if statement. There are different formats are there. I am not going to explain the different format. I will explain the basic concept here. So whenever nested if means, if you take one example. general example, or we can say that this is your syntax you can write. So first I'll write if. I'll write condition 1. Condition 1. The first condition is tested. If the condition is true, normally we are going to execute the statement. Normally we are going to execute the statement. Instead of executing the statement, inside of that I'll check one more condition. Inside that I'll check one more condition. So normally now it is in the form of if nested if. Inside one if statement, one more if statement is given. So condition 2, for example, condition 2. Then statement 1 is going to execute. Statement 1 is going to execute. Else statement 2 is going to execute. Condition 2. So this happens here. After that, this if part is okay. Next else part for this one. See the indentation here. This indentation for this if, this indentation for second if. So that is indentations. Then else, this is if, this one. Inside the else part, I will write one more if statement. Condition 3. Now we are going to check the condition 3. Then statement 3 else statement 4. So this is actually the nested if statement. Best example for nested if. Inside the if part, if I wrote one more if statement, or if I wrote inside the else part, if I wrote one more if statement, this is actually known as nested if statement. Inside the if part, if I write one if statement, or inside the else part also if I wrote one more if statement, that type of statements are known as nested if statement. So if condition 1. Then condition 2 is if the condition 1, how it is executing means first control is moving to check the condition 1. First control is moving to check the condition 1. If the condition 1 is true, then going to check one more condition. If the condition 1 is true means check the condition 2. If the condition 2 is true means then statement 1 is going to execute. If the condition 2 is false, means then statement 2 is going to execute. So remaining will be executed. Any one statement will be executed. Next, whenever condition 1 is false, whenever condition 1 is false, true means this part, false means this part. Whenever condition 1 is false, then is going to check the condition. Then is going to check the condition 3. Condition 3. Then here condition 3 is true means statement 3 will be executed. Condition 3 is false means we will check the execute the statement 4. So this is what happening inside the if statement or nested if statement. If the condition is true, one more check the conditions. If the condition is false, means statement next statement is going to execute, or we can say the else part is going to execute. And remember, in this statement there are 4 statements are there. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3 and statement 4. Any one statement is executing at a time. It is not going to execute all the statement, but executing only one statement at a time. So we will see the next we will see the flow chart. So when we are going to check the write the flow chart, start from here. First we are going to check is condition. First we are going to check the condition 1. Condition 1 is true or false. Whenever condition 1 is true, then we are going to check one more condition is condition 2. We are going to check one more condition is condition 2. Whenever condition 2 is true, whenever condition 2 is true, then we are going to execute statement 1. Statement 1. Whenever condition 2 is false, then we are going to check the condition or execute condition or statement 2. Whenever condition 2 is false. Next we are going to check if the condition 1 is false. The condition 1 is false, then it is going to check one more condition is condition 3. Whenever condition 3 is true, then statement 3 is going to execute. Statement 3 is going to execute. Whenever condition is false, then it is going to execute statement 4. So these are the different statements are going to execute. The character we can second characters. So remember, this is the flow chart for the next if statement. One example, this example is a flow chart. So like the different example we took, the different flow charts are available. So first condition is tested, it is true, this part, if it is false, that part. In here, condition 2 part in this condition 2, if the condition 2 is true means statement 1, condition 2 is false means statement 2. Then condition 3 is true means statement 3, condition 3 is false means we will execute the statement 4. So there are 4 statements are there. In that 4 statement we will execute only one statement. This is about the flow chart for the nested if statement. So now we will see one example based on this one. Now we will see one example. Whenever you are going to write the example, you can take any kind of examples. You can take any kind of example. I am just checking whether greater number among 3 numbers. So we will input 3 numbers. So I am not taking input A, B, C. A, B, C 3 numbers will be input. Then after that number, inputting 3 numbers, you have to check whether which one is greater number in that. So when you will check the greater number, first I check if A is greater than B. Just I check whether A is greater than B. If A is greater than B, inside that I check whether A is greater than C. I check whether A is greater than C. Whenever A is greater than C, then I will print C. Sorry, A. A will print. A means it's a big value that we are going to print. Else I can print C. I can print the value C. So this is a bigger value. Then else once again I check if B is greater than C, whether B is greater than C. Whenever B is greater than C, I can print here B, else I can print C. C is the value. So this is actually not going to print the value, I print the variable name. Just going to print the variable name. So to check whether A is greater or B is greater, C is greater. So this is the same example or same syntax is converted into program. So this is about the nested if statements. So by here we reach the end of session today. In this session we mainly discussed about if, elif statement and also with the nested if statements. With the general format, flowchart and also with the example. So based on this one I will give the worksheet, work out that one. So we will meet in next session. Thank you.